future people, wherever you're watching from. I just want to say thank you for watching this wonderful program today. A few days to Nnamdi Kanu's court trial with Nigerian government. Should I say a few days to the entire Biafra, the entire territory that covered Biafra trial with Nigerian government. Things are beginning to emerge, and it's so interesting that everybody needs to pay good attention, because Nnamdi Kanu's trial is not just an individual and government trial; it's a sovereign trial. It's a trial with interest, and it's one of the big. It's not one. It's the biggest. The biggest court case in Nigerian history. I don't know, many of you may not remember, like I myself, I read about Omoritiko's case, during Omoritiko, how Nigeria tried to kidnap him from UK, which gone wrong. Some of those guys that done that deal went on trial, some of them are in prison, some have to jump bail, some have run away within United Kingdom territories. But the case of Nnamdi Kanu is one of the highest cases in Nigerian history. And also it's a case with complication, a case that if you're a law student, you actually have to try to get into that case, because it will expand your knowledge, expose you to legal terms and legal possibility that you may not have in your lifetime. Nnamdi Kanu case, when I speak to a full lawyer friend, he told me it's one of the most complicated cases that Nigerian government acted without advice, or maybe he got the wrong advice, no legal professional advice. And Kenya government also acted blindly without legal advice. That's why Nnamdi Kanu's case was heard in Kenya High Court. But because they are not prepared, they have to postpone it to 3rd of November. First Nnamdi Kanu 5 billion case against Nigerian government, which happened in Afaruku, the desecration of the monarchy's home, killing about 27 people, properties and everything, and the threat to his life. He sued Nigerian government about 5 million naira on that case in Abia State. They haven't had a case. Nigerian government said they should give them time. They couldn't show up. Then it comes to Nnamdi Kanu, rendition, extraordinary rendition or kidnapping in collaboration with Kenya government. It's something that Nigerian government doesn't want to, put hands onto. It's so complicated. When I talk to my office, see, this case is very complicated, because starting with that, Nnamdi Kanu did not commit crime in Kenya, did not instigate any problem in Kenya, and Nnamdi Kanu is not a holder of Nigerian passport at the time of his arrest. So he asked me, who is holding the Britain passport? Because for Kenya government to hand Nnamdi Kanu's British passport to Nigerian government, they don't have the right. It's like handing sovereignty of Britain to a third world country, which is Nnamdi Kanu, which is Nigeria. So the two countries doesn't have right. They are colonized by Britain. So it's kind of complication, the passport. And by law, the Nigerian government is not meant to hold a British passport. They have highest 48 hours to surrender British passports, unless an individual that holds the passport, didn't submit. But for a government to hold passport, even when a UK citizen overstay your country, you have within that 48 hours to surrender that passport, because it's sovereignty of the country. Then you can hold whoever it is that overstayed. So this is something that is saying who is holding the passport. And from Nnamdi Kanu's passport, you will find the stamp when he comes in Kenya. He did not break the law of Kenya. Nnamdi Kanu is not an immigrant that they deported to unknown country. Maybe you deport him to Nigeria if you claim to be Nigeria. But Nigeria, you have your TC, what we call TC, which is like travel documents you get in place of your international passport. TC, you get TC when you overstay in a country, so they can give that to you for you to exit the country. Nnamdi Kanu is not overstaying in Kenya. Nnamdi Kanu did not commit crime in Kenya. And then Kenya government hand over Nnamdi Kanu legally. The two countries are denying. Kenyans say they don't have the idea. They don't know how Nnamdi Kanu get to their country. They don't know how Nnamdi Kanu get to Nigeria, so that they should count them out. But this is a law. Kenya at the time will come and answer. They will come and defend themselves. So Nnamdi Kanu's case in today will be watching with interest. Nigerian government, Kenya government, and international, they will be watching. Even the West Africa will be watching with interest because this law is a cross-border law which involves, East Africa. Kenya is not West Africa; it's East Africa. Then compared to West Africa, it's a law. It's a cross law that people will watch with a lot of interest. And Nigerian government have dipped itself into a hole. People say set Nnamdi Kanu free, give Nnamdi Kanu amnesty. The giving of setting Nnamdi Kanu free is not the case now, because what happened is that the whole case have piled up a lot of things. Kenya government will want to rescue themselves because Nnamdi Kanu, even though the Nigerian government decide to leave him today, is going to sue Kenya government. So the deal they want to make with Nnamdi Kanu that he will now say he will withdraw all the legal um, challenges that may arise in this case concerning Kenya government, concerning his way of the way they extradite him or the way the extraordinary nation they did to him. That's going to drop that, and Nnamdi Kanu is not going to drop that because his legal rights, because his human right is being violated. You know, they have beaten him a lot of bridges close to this case. It's a case of interest. Nigerian government is very, 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 very confused on how to handle this particular case now. It's not all about beer. We haven't come the issue of phenomenon or about separatists. We are talking about the issue of Nnamdi Kanu now. And my friend I talked to, he told me that if Nnamdi Kanu have a good lawyer, they will not be arguing about the sovereignty yet. They will be asking how did my client came over, what happened. Then because Nigerian government have to explain. You remember when American government took Abbas, which happened to, you could call him Hodge Poppy. The UK government was transparent to his people. They told them that we, extradite this guy from Dubai. With the cooperation of Dubai government made it clear. They went there, they read with Dubai. Dubai did not deny they did not extradite Hush Puppy. But now, because the legal term with Nigeria was not too clear, they actually informed Nigerian embassy that they are informing Nigerian embassy that this guy is in their custody. They're going to take him. They actually informed Nigerian embassy there. So, but the way they extradite Hush Puppy is different from what we are saying now. Hush Puppy is committing crime. It's a scam. Nnamdi Kanu have not been declared wanted by West African country. Nigerian government have not officially seek for extradition of Nnamdi Kanu from UK. Nnamdi Kanu is not a fugitive. So my friend was telling me that because to apply for extradition of a fugitive, the country have to defend it. They have to tell you why they won't extradite him. Maybe they will not extradite Nnamdi Kanu based on when it comes to Nigeria, we will not have fair trial, or maybe when it comes to Nigeria, we will face maybe law of transit, maybe killing or something like that. So in other way, they don't feel that justice will be served to Nigeria, and that they will not allow it to go to Africa. That's the law the UK may come up with. But the government have not applied for that in UK judicial system, where they both Nnamdi Kanu and Nigerian government will have their say on why are we not be extradited to Nigeria or why are we not. Or Nnamdi Kanu may ask Nnamdi Kanu to go back to Nigeria and answer your case if you feel like. But the government will not grant that in that way because they feel that maybe Nigerian government will not give Nnamdi Kanu a fair trial. That's one thing again. They have not applied that. Nnamdi Kanu is not in flight risk. So Kenya government involvement was so cheap, blindfolded this thing. Like my friend was saying, he told me that if the government, Kenya president, is not aware or the government is not aware things like happen, is the fault of the government because this is something they call sovereignty. It has crossed border involvement here, the entire Kenya. Nnamdi Kanu, this case will never go away. This is a very big case. Meanwhile, Nnamdi Kanu is a British citizen, so he has also his right to sue under that Britain, law. That's Commonwealth law. Nigeria is under Commonwealth. Also, Kenya is under common law. He has right everywhere to sue. The best way, my friend told me, the best way is the government to do a dodgy job. Maybe do a dodgy job, they pay a compensation to the family. But how far will that go? The dodgy job I'm saying that is to eliminate Nnamdi Kanu, to kill him. But to kill Nnamdi Kanu here, because he's a British citizen in your custody, if he's not feeling well, you have to tell the Britain they have access to Medicare. So if they must have access to his medicine, let's British wanted to kill this guy himself. And if Britain is wanting to kill them, kill Nnamdi Kanu, they also have to defend it too. So if Nnamdi Kanu is not feeling well, you have to tell Britain that your citizen here is not feeling well. So they have to grant you that, access for him to have a proper medical checkup. So the Nnamdi Kanu case is very, very complicated. Few days to his court case, Nigerian government will be looking all avenue to see if there's a way they will find a catch, what we call a catch, a legal term just to grab him, to make sure that they pin him. But every term here is totally zero. You find out that Nnamdi Kanu's case in Omaya was not hard. Even in Kenya, the government said they need time to respond. So it's a case with interest. The world is watching. And if you're a law student, like I said before, if you're a law student, it's quite very, very important for you to make everything possible to see if you can get into there, to hear this case, because it's a case once in a lifetime, not only to Nigerians, to West Africa, to entire Africa. Because what happened is a sovereignty here. Nnamdi Kanu may not be arguing based on Nigerian citizen, because the passport Nigerian government is claiming, say even though your passport expired, they can still get into the country that Nnamdi Kanu did not deny Nigerian citizenship. Nnamdi Kanu can come up and tell you that, well, he's not born in Nigeria. Remember, Nnamdi Kanu was born when Biafra is still in existence. So by law, by legal term, Nnamdi Kanu is actually a Biafra. He took Nigerian passport to travel based on there's no option then. Nigerian claim that they already Biafra have surrendered, but the spirit of Biafra is still on. So in other way, Nnamdi Kanu have every right to revoke, to invoke Biafra. You remember in law term, in Western world, some people, Ali Kelly is in jail, right? But the crime Ali Kelly committed is crime he committed in 1999. Some in earlier 90s, late 90s. Then after that, 2020, the whole case have come up. So it doesn't matter when you do things. People can invoke law onto you at any age. So Nnamdi Kanu may seek that opportunity to invoke the law now that he's a Biafra. That's his own entirely his own personal view. And then if he has followers, all you have to do is to debate it and bring it to referendum. Like he said, Nigerian government is trying to cut a deal in the court. His lawyer, Ejimofo, have come out and said you cannot cut a deal with somebody who is still under a custody, somebody who is still in detention that never have done before. The Mandela and other freedom fighters were set free, then they can think reasonably when you try to cut a law with them. So the case of Nnamdi Kanu these coming days will be very big thing that we all have to sit down and see how the law plays out, because the law plays out this way. It will be so interesting that everybody would like to make a statement. I hope, like I said, I hope Nnamdi Kanu legal team, which will reference to BIF, and I must say you must be very ready. This is one of the biggest challenge of a sovereignty in West Africa as entirely, not only in Nigeria. In West Africa, the first one we have, I think, was in is that in Botswana? Yeah, Botswana. That's why Botswana today becomes a great country. Remember that the Botswana, one of the former presidents, the guy that bring Botswana to life, was married to a white lady, which is taboo then. They say as a monarchy, he was a king like Nnamdi Kanu. He's similar to Nnamdi Kanu. He was a guy from a king's home. He's a prince, a king to be in future. He went and married a white lady. The white lady, they came back, they refused him. when he came back from UK, they refused him. They actually disowned him. That it's a taboo and da 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 da. At the end of the day, after much prosecution and everything, he later became a king. What happened? Botswana becomes a very great nation today. Botswana is one of the higher achieving country in Africa today. And Nnamdi Kanu was a king. He's actually a king at waiting. So this case is a very peculiar case that people have to watch with a lot of interest. Um, the legal team must be very, 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 very ready for this case. As Nigerian government, I don't know how defense they will bring on, but every indication of their defense will be very weak, because the lawyer of Nnamdi Kanu will be asking, how did my client came here? Why do you took my client to court without our notice? It's never been done. You take a client to court without. That's totally blindness. Nigerian government made a mistake every corner. In fact, Buhari, one of the person was telling me that Buhari legal team was saying, the Nigerian government was saying that if they know this is how the whole thing will play out, they will never attempt to do that, because what they did have created more problem to the country than how it is before. This case will never finish, and this case is not only about the case; it's a sovereignty case, and this case will shape how Biafran is being seen. That's why every Biafran, every people from that place called Biafran, whether you are from what do you call yourself, Delta or whatever, because these days I came to find out that even River State entirely belongs to Igbos. The judge of Opopo, the Opopo guy was actually from Olo. He bought River State. This and that history, I don't want to go in there, but River State people claim sometimes. And I find out that many of them are actually Igbo. I don't know. When we can say that we are not Igbo, I thought it's true. But when I came out and found out that these people are actually Igbos, Wike was so blinded and very stupid that he doesn't get the history. He doesn't know anything. That's the problem. Somebody like Wike will make the same mistake Buhari is making. People, wherever you're watching me from Nigeria, from outside the world, wherever you're watching, please, if it's your first time of watching this program, remember to hit subscribe so that you'll be able to see our program anytime we come online.